Jmulls quick explain all of WoW lore for me. I got you covered. In World of Warcraft, there are orcs and there's humans. I know, big revelation there. They used to not really like each other. There was a few wars waged about this. A lot of killing. Like, more than you think. Like, there was a lot of killing. Then there's some demons. So the orcs and humans and some elves they found in the woods, they decided to team up to beat the demons. They whooped their ass as well. This big world tree that gave the elves immortality, they blew that mother up just to beat this one big demon dude. There's another guy though. His name was Arthas Menethil. If you know the story of Anakin Skywalker, you know the story of Arthas. There's this other guy, elf guy, called Illidan Stormrage. Long dick. Great character.
You are not prepared.
He was awesome. He hated the demons, so he used the demon powers against them. Really cool guy. The undead kind of fucked the world over a bit. Tends to happen. No one really liked that, so we teamed up to not only beat the demons, but also the undead. We kind of whooped their ass as well. We're goated. Then, turns out, underneath the entire world, there was a big dragon. Big dragon guy, bit of a dickhead. He blew the world up in this thing called the Cataclysm. A lot of people died, I guess. Changed a lot of zones as well. He really liked Bloodborne, though, and he was obsessed with the Void. We whooped his ass, but because the guy was a dickhead and did a lot of damage to the world and nearly blew it all up, he actually exposed an entire island of furries. A bunch of panda cosplayers. That entire land was like shrouded in mist for the entire time up to this point, so no one knew they were even there, besides one guy we had back in the RTS games. That was an April Fool's joke. They made it canon. So we went there to pretty much strip them of their natural resources to fuel our war endeavor against the other side, Alliance or Horde. Because why wouldn't we? Naturally. They liked peace or some dumb shit like that. Bunch of hippies, honestly. So we bulldozed a lot of their land over. And in that land, funnily enough, your emotions can take physical form. Wasn't a good idea to bring war over there in hindsight. So we had an orc guy. He talked about the true horde being orcish and all the other races not belonging in the true horde. So you may not have imagined this. Guy's a bit of a dick. Everyone teams up to beat that guy because he's a dickhead, and I mean a really big dickhead. No one liked him. I liked him though. We whoop his ass badly. But the guy's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to lose. That's stupid. So what I'm going to do, right? Because now he's thinking, is I'm going to go to my homeworld because, surprise, the orcs are aliens. They come from this other planet called Draenor. You may be going, Jmulls, you clicked on Outland. Let me cook. The orcs gave in the demon shit. Remember them? They're a bunch of dickheads. By doing so, though, they corrupted their homeworld and pretty much blew it the fuck up. We can still go there, though. It's pretty cool. So, Garrosh, you know, the orc dickhead, he had a brilliant idea. What if I go not just back in time, but to a different dimension? To before when the orcs drank demon blood, because they thought that was a good idea for some reason. And I convinced my father, who's alive at this time, you know, the alternate universe father. What if I convince him that, hey, drinking demon blood may not be a good thing? It might not be poggers. So he had the realization, his father at this point, that, oh right, demons are kind of a bunch of dickheads, so let's not team up with them. It was a really cool scene that they made an entire cinematic where they didn't drink the demon blood, and they rocked the shit out of a demon guy that was there. Grom, Garrosh's father, the orc dickhead's father, he lifted his axe and said, "We will never be slaves, but we will be conquerors." So naturally, he became a dickhead. Always kind of a dickhead, but he really became a dickhead at this point. Tried to invade our world. So we decide, what if we go to this alternate version of Draenor back in time, and we rock his shit. I'm not joking. We bulldozed through that planet. Not much happened. Like, we fought some more demons. That was cool. Unfortunately, there was this orc warlock guy who really, like, gets off to the idea of demon blood. Bit of a dickhead. He died in that time. He was alive in that time. But he was also kind of smart. He realized, oh, I don't have to stand here and die. I can leave. So he left and came to our world, and then summoned the demon armies into our world. The demons really wanted to invade our world, and this was their big invasion. The expansion was called World of Warcraft Legion. We teamed up with a bunch of, like, crackhead elves we found. I'm not joking. We teamed up with them, a bunch of minotaurs from Canada. Again, not joking. And we whooped their ass. But they summoned the big bad demon lord guy called Sargeras. When we had whooped his ass as well, kinda. We beat the god of death at this point. He stabbed the planet with, like, a planet-sized sword. We kind of ignored that for a while. We kind of ignored it for like 6 to 8 years. But remember the big dick elf I was talking about earlier, Illidan Stormrage? Yeah, so he stayed behind as like the jailer for the demon guy. He'll be back in a few years, though. So then, naturally, we had saved the world from catastrophe. So what do we do immediately afterwards? We go to war with each other, like men. At this point, the Horde kept losing leaders because they suck ass. Their troll leader at this point died to like a random demon guy. Dude got like fawned by like a trash mob. So they decided in their infinite wisdom that the lady elf who knew only anger and wanted to like use a bunch of bioweapons as well, let's make her the leader of the Horde. Yeah, the Horde were like really dumb at this point, by the way. Just bear that in mind. So it turned out she was evil. She didn't always used to be evil. Blizzard like rewrote her character to be evil. Long story. In this giant war effort, the Horde go and find a bunch of, like, guys who saw Black Panther, like, last weekend, and then we found a bunch of fat humans. I'm not joking, we're chonky. But they're really good with ships. So what happened, right, was, turns out there was a bigger dickhead. This time an eldritch deity guy called N'Zoth. He really liked tentacles. Like, a little bit too much. Like, more than you think he would. He was hyped up for 10 years at this point to be this big threat, big schemer, very brilliant individual, right? So naturally, we beat him within like a week. So after that, remember that like lady elf, lady undead elf, Sylvanas, who I said might have been a dickhead? Turns out she was a bit of a dickhead. She went to the land of the dead because she was actually serving this other guy they came up with like last Tuesday called the Jailer. That guy, really big dickhead. So we go to the land of death because we have to stop him from remaking reality or some shit. We whoop his ass as well. Then afterwards, Blizzard really had a thing for like Disney. So we go to the land of the dragons, where a guy unironically says on your left like every 2 seconds when you're in a quest with him. They learn that turns out family is important. Yeah, they watched Fast and Furious. They beat a bunch of other dickheads. No one cares about them. Don't worry about it. There's this one cool dragon guy called a Ridicron. He hates these like gods of the world called Titans. Really hates them. Turned out they were also a bunch of dickheads. So Ridicron, you know, this dragon dickhead, thought, I'm gonna just like bide my time. I'll peace out like the meme. And you'll find me like a couple of expansions in the future. Probably. He'll come back in like 3 years or so. But then, turns out, anyone play Final Fantasy XIV? Yeah, you know like how Heidelin was at like the center of the world and all that? Okay, so, it's that story, but with Azeroth. So, various people, including like the human king who has PTSD because he had to play Shadowlands, same. Everyone can hear the song of the world. And because this bitch has like the vocab of like a 3rd grader or something, she cannot just tell us what she wants us to know. Like, the girl talks in vibes until she like learned what a dictionary was and actually learned how to speak. Turns out she wanted us to go to this like random ass island, so we did. There were a bunch of dwarves though there. They were kind of cool. They talk slow as shit though. They have mead though, so it's alright. There's some random ass human elf people also below the center of the world because we just kept going deeper. And below that, a bunch of spider people. Bunch of dickheads those guys are, yeah? Some not so much. Some alright, but for the most part, bunch of dickheads. That's where we're at right now. Next patch, like tomorrow, we're gonna go to the land of goblins because turns out one of the goblin guys, bit of a dickhead. And we have to kind of go rock his shit because he's also teaming up with this other lady elf dickhead. Not the one from before, different lady elf dickhead. Blizzard really likes to have camera shots of her feet. Like, there's more than you think. And, like, they zoom in on those things. It's, like, the most detailed model I've ever seen goes to Xalatath, the lady female void elf dickhead, with her feet. It's, like, insane. Like, there's every line and crevice in those things. So that's where we're going to go tomorrow. Yeah, so that's the story of Warcraft. Big thing back in the day was that World of Warcraft just kind of felt like villain of the week. Because, like, it went from demon dickheads to undead dickheads to dragon dickhead, orc dickhead, more orc dickhead, somehow even more orc dickhead. I remember people complaining about the feed shots. I promise you, no one complained about them. One of my favorite streamers nicknamed her Zallytoes because her name is Xalatath. How long he yapped for? Oh, if you didn't hear, I can just like do that again if you want. I'm here to help. Do it again, I wasn't listening. Okay, so the story begins with orcs and humans.